On the edge of a quiet coastal town lived an old man named Henry Wilson. He was around 80, with white hair, trembling hands, and eyes that carried both peace and sorrow, the kind that come only from a lifetime of loving and losing. Henry lived alone in a small wooden cabin by the sea. Every evening, just as the sun began to sink, he would sit in his old chair facing the waves. The sound of the ocean was his only companion, steady, endless, comforting. Years ago, he had shared that same cabin with his wife, Margaret. They had spent more than 50 years together, laughing, arguing, dreaming, growing old side by side. When she passed away, Henry didn't move anything in the house. Her cup still stood beside his on the kitchen shelf. Her chair still waited beside his near the window. Every evening, he placed 2 cups of tea, one for himself and one for her, as if she might return at any moment. One afternoon, while Henry was watching the waves, a woman stopped near his cabin. She was painting the sunset, her brush moving softly, her eyes calm. Her name was Emma, a retired artist who had also lost her husband a few years ago. She smiled at Henry, and he nodded politely. The next day she came again, then the next. Soon they began to talk. Just a few words at first, about the weather, the ocean, the way time slows down near the sea. Little by little, their silences became comfortable. They began sharing tea together in the evenings. No grand confessions, no promises, only quiet company. Their love wasn't young or fiery, it was gentle, patient, and sacred, born not from desire, but from understanding. One evening, as the wind softened and the waves grew calm, Henry said, "When I was young, I wanted to love, but now that I'm old, I've learned to understand love." Emma smiled faintly and replied, "Maybe true love isn't something you chase. Maybe it's what stays behind, waiting for you to slow down enough to see it." That night, the sea was unusually still. Henry sat in his chair, holding his cup of tea. Emma placed her hand over his. He smiled, closed his eyes, and quietly drifted away, as if the ocean had finally called him home. The next morning, Emma returned. She placed 2 cups of tea on the small table by the sea, one for him, one for herself, and whispered, "I'll keep coming, Henry. Love doesn't end, it just learns to stay quiet." Now, when the sun sets over that little town, locals